If our dog is growing, then we are growing, right? There's no separation. If people are leaving our presence better, that means we are being more connected with God and we're growing in that same process. So it's in this process that we are climbing altitudes, aren't we, in consciousness? We're coming to new altitudes that can sometimes be a little wary. And I know when we were going to Mexico City, I told Danielle, they have these hikes up on the volcanoes. Wouldn't that be fun to go up in that altitude? 14,000 feet up. I've never been that high. We can do this. Mexico City itself is like 8,000 feet. I said, we'll be there a week, we'll acclimate, and we'll make this climb. Well, that was the first mistake, is hearing yourself talk this out. That is all ego, just coming. I want you to see these. These are Aztec words, Pacatepetl. 17,802 feet when we drive about an hour and a half, 2 hours outside Mexico City. Isn't that a beautiful mountain? Right opposite it is this other one, dormant one, Exticaquatl. And it's 17,160 feet. And that's the mountain we were going to go climb. Now, I will say, and I just want to give you our opening shot here, the first challenge came when we got on the bus very excited. We realized Danielle and I were the oldest ones on this tour. I looked around, I could have been the parent of everyone there. And they all look like they probably have done a few triathlons already this year, have been prepping while doing a couple marathons for this event, wearing the right clothes. And I know we are ill-equipped. We're just some country bumpkins. We walk a lot at Questhaven at sea level. And I knew we were kind of going to be out of our comfort zone, shall we say. But we started our climb. And I will say, first thing, because, they come off skipping off the bus, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to have to keep up, Danielle. So, you start jogging. We started at 12,500 feet. Now, aviation requires pilots at 12,000 feet to put on oxygen if they're going to be up there for any extended time. And that's where we started. So I jogged about 20 feet, and I just started gasping. It wasn't, I didn't do anything to tire myself out, but just even to get my body to recover. So all of a sudden, new altitudes of consciousness, I was trying to acclimate as quickly as I could. We were feeling a little self-conscious too, because we didn't want to weigh the group down, and so, we were kind of feeling like we had to keep up, which we couldn't. There was no way. And I realized later, well, this guide had his, you got to be here at this time and this time. They weren't going to wait for us. But, that's, I think, the way it is in our journey. We have our own perceptions, right? Even at one point, I looked back at Danielle because I'm literally 30 steps and I had to stop and catch my breath. 30 steps, stop and catch my breath. And so I looked back at Danielle and she's like, quit waiting for me, just keep going, because she didn't want me waiting. And I said, I can't, I'm going as fast as I can. And it wasn't, just a few feet ahead. But step by step up that mountain we did climb. And to the surprise of all, we made it to the 14,000 feet, which was this junction on top of the hill. And the guide said, oh, you made it. I said, yeah. We were the last. I have to say there were 3 that didn't make it at all. And there's my pride. I was like, oh, we aren't. See, but this is the journey with Christ, isn't it? This whole journey is mirroring what happens, our own perceptions, our egos, the struggle. I was in so much pain and discomfort. By the way, I've done this now. I don't have to do it again. And that's, I think, what a journey like that brings us. We could have stopped many different times. And I have to say, I'm so proud of my wife, because I knew how hard I was struggling, particularly up that last reach. But I want to show you a picture. She made it. There's even Bryce in the background doing a selfie. He had to do his social media right on top of there. But once you accomplish something, and when you go with Christ, you do go into these worlds that are unknown and unfamiliar. You have to acclimate. You have to find your way. But when you do, the views, you never view life the same. You never meet things the same. And I think this is kind of the whole point of the crucifixion and resurrection experience. We have to struggle. I struggled on that mountain, but it was the only way to get to that recovery, to that heights. And this might happen over and over and again in our life for every little challenge we are awakening to. And that's an important thing for us to realize and be okay with. We're okay with that. Flower writes that true devotees of our Lord Christ live in the physical world, but their allegiance and inner growth belong to their deepening awareness of God's everlasting Spirit. And there's that stirring. We're in this earth, but we're of another world.